our mission at Friends of Jaclyn is to improve the quality of life for children and their families battling pediatric brain tumors and raise awareness. We are focused on what we can do for these children today, not tomorrow or a year from now.
More than anything, I enjoy coaching this time in their lives. You know, they come, you know, in as a college player, and they come in as a kid. They're a high school kid. You know, they were under mom and dad's roof, and over the course of the next 4 years, they have to go from that to being a young adult who's ready to pay bills and take care of themselves. And you know, I just think it's a really, really important time in their life, and a really time of great change in their life. And with many of these young girls that are turned into young women, it's just about helping them understand confidence and developing confidence and respect for the people around them, and strength. You know, about understanding that they can stand on their own and support themselves and take care of themselves and be productive, you know, in this world on their own. I think everyone focuses on the child. I think everyone's focuses on, you know, the people you're reaching out to. But to me, you know, if I'm only judged by wins and losses when my time's done as a coach, to me that's a pretty sad statement, you know, as to my worth. To me, it's about getting our kids to understand what they get from those things more. You know, on the surface, you hear what you give. You're giving to these children, you're giving to whatever charity you're working for, but to me, it is something you're receiving, and it's understanding that you have a purpose. It's understanding that you have a role. It's understanding that people see you differently than you might see yourself. And you know, when we're given that platform, I think it's really important, you know, that our kids understand the impact that they can have, and also feel that impact in return when they see, you know, what's given. I'm a melanoma survivor. I had a real scare. I had I want to say a fairly advanced melanoma, but if it's too advanced and it's a melanoma, you're not here to tell. So mine was caught in time, and you know, I've been cured. But my family went through the roller coaster that is a cancer diagnosis, and so, you know, I felt that. I think I understand that on a little different level than no, I do understand that on a different level than someone who hasn't been through it, because if you haven't been through it, you don't understand. You think you do, but you don't understand. And so I think there is a little different understanding with Harlie and what their family is going through, although they are going through it on a much different level than even I did. But it allows me to understand some of the emotions that you feel at the beginning, you know, and some of the hurdles that you have to cross, and the fact that it never leaves you. You know, when you hear that word cure, or you hear that word remission or whatever, you understand that that's a medical term, but in your mental state, I don't know that that's ever achieved, because it's always going to be there as a part of your fabric. Spirit, you know, energy, warrior. I call her my little warrior, because you know, the word toughness is thrown around in athletics daily, but toughness is something that I think the truly tough people don't even necessarily realize they have it. You know, in the world of college athletics, I think people are termed tough, and then they start thinking they're tough. And I think the truly tough people in this world are the ones that it's who they are. It's what they do. They're not labeled that. It's just, you know, in their spirit, and I think Harlie has that to her. Yeah, what Harlie provides for me is she's an 8-year-old little girl and she takes me back to being a kid myself. Because so many people in this world, because I've been coaching here 20 years and we have had a measure of success, so many people know me by that and think that's who I am. And Harlie doesn't care about those things. And I'm just her friend. I'm just somebody that laughs with her and plays with her. And those are hard to come by in my world after being a coach for 20 years. And, sometimes I think that there's not a lot of, the term real gets you, I don't think there's a lot of realism in college athletics sometimes, because I've won and I've lost. And the people that have their arm around you when you win are the ones that you can't find when you're losing. And I've never lost that about being a coach. And that little girl, it's about as real as it gets between me and that little girl. And so I don't know. If it's possible, I think an 8-year-old little girl may understand me more than all the adults around her in terms of who I really am. First and foremost, I hope they're still in touch with her. I hope they're friends. I hope they still talk. I hope they still, that's the most lasting part for me. But then, again, just an understanding that one of the hardest times for me as a coach is when I say goodbye to my seniors, when they graduate, in May and they're walking out the door. And one of the things I always sit down and tell them, because after 4 years of keeping it real, as they would tell you, because I always kind of tell them the truth about things as their coach, but one of the things that I tell them when they're walking out the door is it's going to be hard sometimes out there in the real world. It's going to be hard. There's going to be challenges. You're going to have challenges with your marriage and with your job and as a mother and all those things. And you're going to have to, get knocked down and get back up very much like you did as an athlete. And my hope is that they get that from her, that they get that spirit that I talked about in the beginning, from Harlie, and understand that what you can do when you get knocked down is just get up and try again tomorrow. And if we could all get that from her, because to this moment in my 3 years with Harlie, I've never seen a bad day. And I think we could all learn from that. One of the coolest things that I think's happened about a year and a half ago, our neighborhood has a neighborhood yard sale every year. And I hate yard sales, hate them, okay? Hate the whole process, don't like going through people's And last year my boys asked if they could be part of the yard sale. And they priced everything that I'd give them in our house, and they sat out there with their Hope for Harlie t-shirts on, and they gave the proceeds of that to the Hope for Harlie and Friends of Jaclyn Foundation. And to me, that tells me that they get it, that they're getting it. And that's something that this whole process, I think, has been a part of teaching them.
The power of Friends of Jaclyn creates future leaders for tomorrow's society. FOJ develops young men and women to make a difference in the world. These student athletes' perspective is changed by a child who gives them a gift in return for their love, support, and friendship. I believe that FOJ will be as significant as the pink ribbon one day. And at that time, we'll be able to make an impact on research. Until then, we will continue to focus on the now. As my wife Linda says, quality of life prolongs life. Our motto at Friends of Jaclyn is live in the moment, play in the moment.